everyone and welcome back to my channel, Beth Chats Books. Now today is going to be part 3 and the final part of my June book haul. So let's just crack on. So the first 2 books are part of the March Mothbox subscription. So what I'm going to do is link down below Mercedes' channel, which is Mercy's Bookish Musings, who has created the Mothbox subscription. I'm going to try and also include down below her playlist on all of her Mothbox subscription information. I'm also going to include the video she did on the March Mothbox, so that if you're interested you can learn a little bit more about these books than I can give you. And I'm also going to include the website of the Mothbox subscription stuff down below, the actual website, where when you click on it you can give your email address and then she will send you a newsletter when things are being sent out. Because with this March Mothbox, you can't just go onto the website and subscribe and just continuously get it sent to you every month. You've got to do it on an individual month basis at the moment. She's hoping to make it a subscription where you can subscribe for months on end, but at the moment you have to keep an eye on the website, so I'll link the website down below so you can keep an eye on that. Also, at the moment she's alternating every month between either 2 novels or 2 short story collections, and every month you'll receive either the novel package or the short story package, and she wraps it individually in a different coloured paper. So March was a purple paper, and then she ties it with string, and it includes 2 bookmarks that have a kind of quote of each of the books on them, and a kind of overall little piece of paper that describes why she's put these 2 together. She hand chooses 2 books from independent publishers every month, and she did this because she says in one of her videos that she thinks a lot of independent publishers aren't being recognised. She finds it very difficult to find them, so she started her own business to allow other people the opportunity to do so. So I'm going to talk about the 2 books from the March Mothbox. Now I know you're thinking it's in the middle of June now, why are you showing the March one? And basically the March one is the only one that I've been able to subscribe to because I had a lot of exams and things. And I know it's quite late on, but I haven't read these yet, so I thought I would just haul them. So I'm just going to get stuck in and show you them. So the first one I have to show you is 100 Shadows by Hwang Juan. Now I'm sorry if I butchered that. Again, I'm really terrible at pronouncing things, as you probably know if you watch any of my videos right now. So this has an interesting story attached to it. I believe that Han Kang's a vegetarian. The lady who translated that, and I don't know her name off the top of my head, which is really embarrassing, but she set up this business, and this is number 2, if you can see here, number 2 on the spine, of her new publishing industry, which is called Tilted Access Press. And she is trying to publish a lot of Korean literature. And so this is number 2. I don't know how many there is out there. I'll link all these links down below. I'll do some research and link for you. So this is number 2 of a series that she's kind of publishing of Korean literature to try and get British people to read more. So this one seemed very interesting. This is my little bookmark that's come out of it. So on the front it usually says Mothbox, and then on the back it's usually got a quote for you, so I'll read the quote out. It says, "Some days when he came to work, it was his shadow that went ahead of him," which is a quote directly from the book. And I'll just read you, and the front page there's a kind of synopsis because it will do a much better job than I could, because I will probably butcher it. So, in a slum electronics market in central Seoul, a city better known for its shiny skyscrapers and slick pop videos, an awkward tentative relationship grows between repair shop assistants Yugo and Muje. Having both dropped out of formal education, their circumstances are already uncertain when the market is earmarked for demolition, an event seemingly linked to a strange recent development. The shadows of the slum's inhabitants have started to rise. An oblique, hard-edged novel tinged with offbeat fantasy, 100 Shadows leaves the reader to make up their own mind as to the nature of this shape-shifting tale. Hwang's spare prose is illuminated by arresting images, quirky dialogue, and moments of great lyricism, crafting a deeply affecting novel of perfectly calibrated emotional restraint as well as keen social criticism. So it sounds fantastic. Probably a lot of people have already started to read and review this, so you can probably look around BookTube to get a better idea, but I can't wait to read this. It sounds phenomenal. It's also fairly short, and the text is very big on it, so it should be something easy to read, and I can't wait to get stuck into this one. And then the second one that came with the March Mothbox is Little Nothing by Marissa Silver. And this seems really, really intriguing to me. I think it's something to do with there's elements of witchcraft in it. So this also came with a bookmark, and I'll read you the back of that one as well. So it says, she feels like she's been thrown into the air, and for the brief moment she is aloft. The earth is turned so that when she comes down she recognises nothing. So that's the quote for that one. And this one is about, in an unnamed country at the beginning of the last century, a peasant couple longs for a child. Despairing, they turn to gypsy tonics and archaic prescriptions, and one cold wintry night the couple's wishes come true. But the silence that follows the birth forewarns of darker days to come. Strangers look on and fall speechless in the child's presence, and villagers protectively hush their children as they pass on narrow market lanes. Pavla is no ordinary child, but then this is no ordinary tale. So that sounds completely intriguing to me. I haven't tried lots of different novels that are magical realism, but this, the overall moth box thing, kind of sheet of paper which usually introduces the two books and why they're linked, it kind of discusses that these would be a little bit more magical and surreal, and I really want to try and read more of those type of books because I think I'll really enjoy them once I get into them, and I haven't had much experience with them. But this one sounds really intriguing. I think this is going to be one of those books that grabs you very fast on, so I can't wait for that. And then the next one I have to show you is SlaughterhouseFive by Kurt Vonnegut. Now this one's meant to be a modern classic. This is a kind of sci-fi-esque one, I want to say. Again, this is one of those really unhelpful books that just has loads of quotes on the back, which really, really is a pet peeve of mine. But yeah, it's not going to show me any synopsis when I really need one, which is annoying. But I think it's got sci-fi elements in it. It's one of those that was always on my bucket list. I have a massive bucket list of modern classics I should read, books that have to be read. So this particular book is on that list, so I bought it for that reason, so I can tick it off and read it. So hopefully I'll read it and do a review and actually let you know what the bloody thing is about. So there's that one. And then the next one is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. Now I believe this... Oh, Asperger's, yeah, I was about to say, I believe this deals with autism or Asperger's, it says on the back. And I thought this was really important. It's one of those books that's been always recommended to me. It says on the back that I've just seen there that it's kind of murder mystery with a little bit of an edge, so that sounds really intriguing. But people don't give much away with this book. I haven't heard a lot about it. But I know they're making it into play or something, so I'll link some information down below about that. But it's something that was always on my radar. I really want to learn about it. I think books that deal with things about Asperger's or autism are really, really important, and I think I will quite enjoy this. I recently read Wonder, and it kind of made me think of similar themes. I know that's about physical disformity, but I like reading books about difference and about things in society that I think we should address better and address in our literature. So I think that's something I'm really going to enjoy. And then the next one is Pat Barker's Noonday. Now my mum gave me this. She's really into books about world wars. She was a history teacher. She's recently retired, so that explains a lot. So this one is set in the Blitz in 1940, and it's one of those novels, something happens that brings everybody together on this fateful day. I quite like war stories and the interweaving of characters, so it should be fairly interesting. If anybody knows anything more about this one, that would be great, because I don't really know that much about that one. But it's just been thrown at me and I've been told to read it, and I know that my mum really respects this writer, so I'm going to give it a go. So there's that one. And then this next one is Rohinton Mysteries: A Fine Balance. Sorry again if I butchered your name, I'm terrible. This has been on my radar for a very long time because I did a module in history where we had to learn about sterilisation in India, and this book deals specifically with that. Apparently it's very heartbreaking, but we used excerpts of this in the module because they said that literature is a very interesting source material when dealing with trying to account for a history, because it's usually it adds a richness to your source material, and this was used as an example of how to weave literature into historical analysis. but this sounds enchanting. The bit that I read, a little excerpt, was horrific, and it sounds like it's going to be very upsetting. It's quite a big book and the font is pretty small, but that topic really intrigued me since I did the module, and I think this would be the perfect place to go to start getting back into that world again. It's about a son and a father, and they both get forced into sterilisation, and they go to the sterilisation camps, and apparently it is very moving, but it's something that's right up my alley. I love stories like this, and the fact that it was based on true events is even more horrific but equally intriguing for me, so I can't wait to dig into this one. And then the next one I have is Homegoing by Yagasi. Sorry. This one has blown up BookTube recently. I know some people have reviewed it. I think Mercy over at Mercy's Bookish Musings didn't love this. She said it was a great book. I think this is a debut novel from this author. So she said that she would read a lot of her other works, but that this one wasn't perfect. And I know Mercy has very high standards, so I don't know if I'll love it or I'll have similar issue with it. But I think it's very interesting of an idea. I think, what was it about? Oh, two sisters with two different destinies, one sold into slavery and one a slave trader's wife. The consequences of their fates reverberate through the generations that follow. Yeah, I remember now. I find it interesting because one's a slave and one's a slave owner, and it also, apparently, Mercy had said in her review that it goes through a big timeline. So there's a lot of people involved, and it goes through a lot of different pasts and generations. And she said that she felt it should have been longer to achieve that better because it's quite a short book. But I saw that it was really cheap online, and I know that people are raving about it, and I wanted to join in and start to understand and have more up-to-date books going into BookTube to talk about. So that's why it's on my list. And yeah, look, Zadie Smith's done a good review on the back, and I adore Zadie Smith. I think she's a fantastic writer, so maybe I will enjoy this, but I'm hoping to find out by buying it and reading it. So there's that one. And then the final one I have for this book haul is Helen Dunmore's Exposure. Now, my mum recently told me that I think she's very, very recently died, which is terribly sad. And it's also compelled me to read this now. So she gave me this a couple of months ago, and it was never really fully on my radar. And then when my mum told me about her unfortunate recent demise, I think it made me desperately want to read it. So this one, it says it's set in the Cold War at its height, and a spy may be a friend or neighbour, colleague or lover. At the end of a suburban garden in the pouring rain, a woman buries a briefcase deep in the earth. She believes that she's protecting her family. What she will learn is that no one is immune from betrayal or the devastating consequence of exposure. So that sounds really interesting. Again, it's historically based because my mum usually gives me historically based novels, but I think that this will be really interesting. It seems quite long, but I definitely want to learn more about the Cold War as well, so I think that would really motivate me to read this one. So that's basically, oh, don't want it to fall off this side. So that's basically all the books for this book haul, and all of the books have now been hauled for June, which is amazing, so I can actually start reading them. I have a couple more videos coming up of book reviews and different things, so I'll keep you guys posted, but that's all I wanted to talk about for now. So have a great day, everyone. Bye.